So hi all. So in the previous video we have configured till expression. We have configured the A-bank grid row layout as well. Okay, so now what we actually want to do is we want to add a link here so that we can add new values here. So how to add that? So let's minimize our rows and this header cells as well. Okay, now so to add that, here you can see add row link is there. So add row link, yeah. So if you go to this argument, it will say like link for adding a row to the grid. Okay, so we will configure the add row link, row add row link, and it is configured with the help of A-bank dynamic link. So what to do? So for A-bank dynamic link, label is needed. So what will be our label? So we will add new user. So add new user is done. So label, what is the error now? The target is missing line number 39. Okay, let's put a comma there. Yeah, now add new user label has come. So now there is no link to it. So to add the link, what we will do is we will use the save into parameter. In the save into, how save into works, we'll use A-bank save, and A-bank save is what? Two arguments are there, target. So if we write, you can write the arguments as well. It is target. So in target, where we actually want to save our data. So in target, if we see, so target. So we want to save our data to our grid data, rule input grid data. Now what is the value we need to save every time this a new row is clicked? Every time what we need to save? So we need to what actually, so when this link will be clicked, so what we actually need is a new row should be added there. So a new row add. So if you get the term like add, so how to add something in APN? We will use append function for that. It is an function. So append. So where we actually want to append which array? So only one array we have currently, which is A-bank grid data. And now this append, and what is the value every time it needs to be added? So same, it will be of the same data type. The value will be of the same data type as this CDT. So we need to get a local variable which will represent our same data type. A-bank local variables, this one you put it there, and local bank, let's name it grid data type. Okay, and it will be of the same type as this one. So to use type, we will use type bank ys underscore editable grid, and we'll just give a comma. So every time the link is clicked, we want that local variable of data type to be saved in this rule input. So if you see, let's try to add this. So if you see here, automatically every time a new value will get added. And currently you are saying like this 1 2 3 are like editable. Let's make it a read only. So we'll go to the rows and we'll go to index, and here we will put it read only. So read only will make it true. So now you can see here you can't edit that value, but you can add whatever the number of values you want here. Okay, so that's all. So name, age and phone number. For example, let's try to add some name as John. Age, let's try to put it 23. Phone number, let's give it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, whatever. And if we go to our rule input, so same values you can see that in the first row it is added. So ID is null, that's fine. Name is John and the phone number is there. Now we want that if we want to delete some rows as well, so we want that as well. So how to delete it? So we have seen that uh, to add new row, what we need to use, we need to use add row link. We need to use the add row link, and here most important point is append function. We need to append it. Now to delete a row, so to delete a row, what we will use? So let's see how to delete that row. So for to deleting a row, first of all we need one more header here, so that any row we can delete it. So we will have to go back to our header cells and configure the same thing over again. So we'll go to header cells, copy it and paste it. So now let's see, when we paste it, will not use any heading for that, it will be empty. So now you can see one error, you can see 4 components but 5 components is expected because we have increased the number of header cells, and I have told you like every number of should be equal. So in the column as well, what we will keep it, we will copy the icon but it will be very small. Delete icon will be there, so it will be very small. So this is also done. Now in the grid row layout we will need one more field here. So here we will add abang rich text display field, because only from here we can add a value. So value, so if you see here in the value we will use abang rich text icon. So and what will be our icon? So you can go to directly from icon to documentation here and search the icon from there as well. So one page is open, so available icons are there here present. Yeah, so if you search something like delete, you will get something like this can also be used, times is there, time circle is there, time circle O is there. So whatever you want to select you can do it. Let's try to select this time trash O. So this icon will try to select, or generally in editable grid like times is there, so this time we'll select time circle. So let's copy it and in icon we'll give it in quotes and we'll paste it here. So you can see here this icon has automatically came. So now icon is fine, and black color is not much suitable, so we'll change the color. So what are the different colors available? We'll keep it negative. Yeah, now it is fine, and it should be linked so that when we click it should delete something. So we will use a link. So link, we will use link again. We'll use the abang dynamic link, and this time no label is needed. Fine, this time label we don't need it. We just will configure with the help of save into. So abang save. Okay, so now abang save will be the what is our target. So target, so if you see here, target is nothing but our rule input grid data. So from where we have to actually remove, so from this array we have to actually remove. So currently there are 5, so it should reduce it to 4 if we delete something. So this is our target, and what is should be our value. So in value we will to delete a row will use remove function. So remove function is there to remove any values. So we will use a remove function here. And how to use remove? Same, we have to give the array. So from where we have to delete the value, we have to delete from row rule input, and which index we have to delete. So every time it should take the particular index. How to get that particular index every time? Every bank index we can use it. Now let's try to see here. If we delete 2, so automatically 2 is getting deleted. If we delete 1, 1 as well is getting deleted, and 3 as well is getting deleted, and this is also getting deleted. And if we delete this as well, there will be no values, and we can select the add new link as well. So fine, so that's all we have to do to add and delete. So let's name the form as user data, and this editable grid is not required. Let's save our changes. So now quickly let's create a process model and try to implement our data there. So capture user data. So let's try to create a we'll try to quickly create a process model, and we'll see how we can use this in a process model. So that's all the important points we have to keep in mind for the interface part. Now what we have to do for the process model part, so that is, we'll see what we can do for the process model. So for the process model, what we will do is we'll use the user input task here. Okay, and in the user input task we will use capture user data. So this is the data to be captured in the forms. We will we will write our interface name ys editable. So this was our data. Let's write it here, the values we have got. Right, so now we have used. So let's verify. So any assignment is not there, so let's make any assignment there. So it will be process initiator. Okay, now our assignment is done. Now once we have added the user input, let's try to create our process variables. So what are the process variables available? So two rule inputs are available in our interface, cancel and grid data. Same we will configure here as well. First let's try to configure the cancel value. Cancel will be of type boolean. We'll have configure it. Fine. Next value is what? Grid data. Here also we can use the same name or we can use different name as well. Now type. Type is very important. What is the type of the grid data? Same type we have to use here as well. Ys editable grid. So we'll use the same type here as well. Ys editable grid. Now one more thing, important point to keep in mind is if you see here, it is an array, multiple value it can store. Same thing, it can store multiple values here as well. So multiple values. So in most important point is in process model. In process model, make process variable as multiple, or you can write array. That is very important to keep in mind. Now we have configured here. Now we will go back to our user in data, and now we will go back to our user data and we'll try to map the values there. So cancel will be of cancel value, save into cancel grid data. It is if you see already it is multiple, and we will just map the values here. Okay, values are mapped now. We'll try to validate. Everything looks fine for now. Now we have to write that data to our database. So write to data store entity, we will use it. Now here write to data store entity. Here in the data type, which data store entity is actually there, so we can make a constant of our data store entity. So let's try to make a constant of user data. So and it will be of type data store entity, and our data store is ys data store and entity is grid data. Constant is created. Let's try to give the same constant here, it will be much quicker. Ys cons bang ys data. It was user data. So just now we have configured a user data, so it is user data, it is configured. Save into is not required for now. Text, so here we will use grid data. And type we will again use for the type we will again use ys underscore editable grid data. And here also data store entity as well, it should be multiple. Keep in mind these three things. So process variable is multiple, cdt is multiple always. So somewhere I would have make the cdt. So cdt should be as well multiple, and process model, process variable should be multiple, and data store. So these three things will be multiple. You won't face any issue while saving this value. Okay, and we'll keep the grid data here and here as well. Now let's click on save. So let's validate, is everything fine? Yes. Now we will add one XOR gate as well if user click on cancel. So let's add the XOR, and here we will keep it cancel. So as if user cancel it, then we will use the cancel flow. So let's try to quickly map those values. Okay, so cancel is there. We'll configure the XOR gate as well, and here we will use PV bank grid sorry, PV bank cancel. So if cancel is true, then we will want to go to directly to end node, otherwise we will go to data store entity. Okay, so let's and we will name is here we will add a label as no, and here we will add the label as yes. Now let's try to save and publish our process model. Now we will debug it. Now let's see how on debugging it is behaving. So it has reached to user data. So now let's go to the form and let's try to add some data there, and we'll try to see in our database that data is reflecting or not. So in first we will write John, age is 24, phone number is something, we will just give some random data, and then we will write something as Andrew, age is 26, and phone number as well we can give something. Okay, and let's try to click on submit, and we can see it has written to data store database as well. Now we will go back to our database and we'll refresh it. Let's see the values has come. So if you see here, two values, whatever we have input there, two values has came. So in the same way we can configure the editable grid as well. So that's all for now.